Baby Pac Man was something so different and special that it would be nearly impossible to port to any console. Even the incredibly convenient MAME has a hard time emulating it properly. And why is that? Because the game has both the video game aspect that you would expect and a mechanical pinball aspect. And it's that mechanical pinball part that keeps it from being ported nearly anywhere. It keeps Baby Pac Man itself from being as well known as the other Pac games. It would take either a person or team that is extremely talented or very arrogant to even attempt such a port, especially on a console like the Atari 7800. But one man did just that. The great, wise, and powerful Robert De Crescenzo and a team of valiant helpers led an effort to port Baby Pac Man to the Atari 7800, and it was released back in 2019 via Atariage. And while it's no longer available for purchase, PacManPlus has made the majority of his pulled releases available for free download on the forums. So the question is, did he and his team succeed in porting this unique Pac-Man pinball game to the Atari 7800, or was it an epic failure of titanic proportions? Let's find out. First thing first, this Atari 7800 version of Baby Pac Man works on the Atari 2600 Plus with no issues. All the gameplay found in this video was captured using my 2600 Plus. Okay, now on to business. The title screen is bright and vivid with a nice large Baby Pac Man playing with a yo-yo front and center. You can push any direction on the joystick to bring up the menu, and you get the usual excellent options that Bob puts into most of his modern Pac-Man ports. You can select between 1 or 2 players, and choose between starting with 2, 3, 4, or even 5 lives. You can also change some Baby Pac-Man specific options, like whether or not the Energizers are forgotten between levels, whether the ghosts follow classic 7800 Miss Pac-Man pathing, or the arcade accurate movements, and whether to play the whole game or just the mazes or pinball field. And that last option is nice if you struggle with one or the other and need specific practice. It also makes Baby Pac Man the only pinball game available on the 7800, which is another cool fact. So after selecting your options, you are dropped into a maze, but it's not typical of other Pac-Man games. You'll notice the lack of power pellets in the corners, and there are openings on the bottom of the screen. And generally, I recommend heading to those openings as it drops you to the pinball field that would normally be found beneath the screen in the arcades. It's in the pinball portions where you will win the power pellets that you need to survive the maze and kill the ghosts. And there's a bit more going on in the pinball section than you might initially realize. It can be complicated to understand how you acquire everything, or what you are even working towards outside of the power pellets. So allow me to explain it a bit. So there's a silver ball resting in a tunnel at the top of the screen. It usually starts in the left position, and if you hit it with your pinball, well, then it'll swing to the right. This awards you with 1 power pellet. Then if you hit it back to the left, you're awarded with yet another pellet. You can also win a couple pellets by hitting the yellow buttons, which highlights the Pac-Man letters on either side of the center of the playfield. Once you spell Pac-Man, you are awarded with yet another power pellet, and this can be done up to 4 times. You can also light the arrows in the dead center of the maze to win a bonus baby. You do this by either spelling fruits or tunnel, or by hitting the blue button in the center of the yellow ones. Spelling fruit and tunnel also has another effect. Each time you successfully spell fruits by sending the ball through the side spinners, then you advance the fruit once. You start with cherries, but you can advance to oranges, bananas, etc. If you spell tunnels on the opposite side, then you increase the speed with which you travel through the tunnels on the side of the mazes. There is more here, but I'll leave all that to you to discover. But it should be apparent that there is a ton going on in the pinball portion. But the best part is that the pinball portion controls very well. I find good physics to be the most important part of any video pinball game, and I can't think of a single situation where Baby Pac Man did not react the way I expected. Which is fantastic, especially when considering that this is a homebrew on a notoriously hard console to program for. I enjoy a good video pinball game from time to time, and Baby Pac Man fits the bill nicely on the 7800, or any other console really. Now the pinball portion is excellent, but what about the mazes? Well, let me tell you, this is probably one of the hardest versions of Pac-Man I've ever played. Seriously, I don't know if it's because you don't always have access to the power pellets, or what it is, but I find these mazes to be extraordinarily hard. But it's not due to poor controls, I can tell you that. Quite the contrary, Baby Pac Man plays great. But the ghosts do seem to give chase more often than in other Pac-Man games. I've found that changing their AI to classic from arcade helps to make things easier. Not easy, mind you, but easier than the other option. The mazes themselves are usually 2 colors, green and orange to start and so forth, and they look pretty good. Baby Pac Man, the ghosts, the dots, they all look great to me. Even on the 2600 Plus, which sometimes brings to light weird graphical tricks that developers had to use in the past. But not here. Everything looks bright, vivid, and perfect in the high-definition world. The pinball field is just the same, with great colors and accents all around. You have Mr., Mrs., and Baby Pac Man all represented, along with different lights and pieces to interact with. It all looks great, and it fits together cohesively. The sound is pretty good, but it's much less spectacular than the gameplay and graphics. But that's more due to the limitations of the 7800 stock audio than anything else. You have the Pac-Man theme at the start of each life, but you can cut it off early to jump right in, which is nice for the impatient players out there. You get the normal waka waka sound, and the pinball effects all sound appropriate and great too. There really isn't any music to speak of, but I find that keeping the TV audio on and cranking up some personal favorite tunes are the way to go. If I haven't made it clear yet, then Robert DeCrescenzo, Kurt Woloch, and friends deserve all the praise in the world for making this arcade oddity come right home on my favorite console. But I think it's time we take a trip into the one-of-a-kind Atari Network pros and cons section to see what score Baby Pac Man deserves. And as always, we'll start with the pros. Baby Pac Man has plenty of useful options, from the number of players and lives to changing the ghost AI and which game modes you'd like to participate in. The pinball section plays great with excellent ball physics. The mazes play well too. Everything is colorful and looks great, even on high-definition televisions on the 2600 Plus. The sound is minimal and honestly predictable, but it's good as well. There's a lot more depth here than you might realize initially, but you can just play the mazes if you don't want the complexity of the pinball game. Overall, Baby Pac Man is a great unique challenge on the 7800, and one you currently can't get many other places. For the cons, well, there isn't much honestly. The mazes can be very hard, and it's probably due to the lack of power pellets. The enemy AI can be tweaked, however, which helps. Also, I don't know, I guess that's really my only complaint. I guess if you don't like Pac-Man games, you won't like the maze portion, but the pinball is so good, you'll probably enjoy that. So I won't even throw that in here. So I think it's obvious, but I have to say it out loud, that I'm going to give Baby Pac Man on the Atari 7800 Pro system 5 Pro Line controllers out of 5. Baby Pac Man is the second ever perfect Atari game we've looked at, and I'll be honest, it's a good one. The arcade/pinball machine is so rare that not many people have or will experience this game in person. But with the 7800 version, I'm actually fine with that. This is an incredible game for the console. Unfortunately, it's no longer available on cartridge from Atariage, and they have been going for a small fortune on eBay lately. I do not recommend paying $500, $400, or even $300 on this game, especially when you can get a flash cart and experience it for much cheaper. Buy the new 7800 game drive and head over to the Atariage forums and download the ROM from Robert DeCrescenzo's thread. I'll have it linked in the description of the video. But now I want to hear from you guys. Have you played Baby Pac Man on the 7800? Or have you had the honor of playing the actual machine in the arcades? If so, do you like either version? Is it worthy of a perfect score in your opinion? Or did I overrate it? Let me know all this and more in the comments down below. And please leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe. We put out new reviews every weekend, and they span all generations of Atari. We even check out other things like controllers and stuff. We also do featured videos every Thursday on specific Atari topics. Last Thursday we talked about Atari Red Label games, so why not check that out if you want to learn all about them. Also, please check out the Atari Network podcast every other Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. Myself and co-host Vinny Vineyard from Big and Funky Productions talk about everything Atari, and we have fun with the chat. So please join us for that, and please consider becoming a Patreon. It helps the channel out a ton, and goes towards improving the content. You'll also get exclusive Discord access, videos and live streams, and access to contests and so much more. These classy Atarians have become Patreons, and I can't thank them enough for their support. You guys really are the best. Also, Atari Network merch. It's in the description, so check it out if you're interested. Okay guys, thanks for checking out our review of Baby Pac Man. I'm the 7800 Pro Gamer, a rare survivor of the horrible Pac-Man fever from back in the day, and I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay classy, Atarians.